I am so sorry for taking so long to get this review out. Because despite what some of my subscribers may say, it is my fault for leaving you guys without a new video for over a month. And I'm gonna try really hard to make it up to you. So I guess I won't keep you waiting any longer, and I hope you guys like the review. Hey everybody! I was not intending on this video taking so long to the point where I guess it's turning into a Christmas video, but that's just how it went. So I've been wanting to do a video on a horror game at some point, and when I heard that the Blair Witch game was getting ported onto the PS4, I thought that this would be a perfect excuse to finally do one on a game. I also thought it would work out even more with it being a Blair Witch game, considering, let's just say this isn't going to be the only video where I'm going to talk about the Blair Witch franchise. When I heard about this game coming out, I really wasn't too interested. I mean, I like the, full disclosure, I like the first movie. I really like the movie. And, but part of what made the first movie work, at least when it came out, was it was able to convince so many people that it might have been real. As we all know, it wasn't actually real. But making a game out of it just kind of, it basically kind of lamented to me, like, it was the final nail in the coffin that kind of made me realize, wow, yeah, all of the magic surrounding the original Blair Witch is just gone. But I did see a few mixed reviews, including one from Jim Sterling, who I trust for pretty much any gaming opinions. And he actually really liked it, and he made it sound like it would be pretty good, and yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's not an amazing game, it's nothing groundbreaking or anything, but it's made by the people who made the Layers of Fear games, which I thought were alright. I didn't think they were as good as a lot of people made them out to be, at least to me. But this one I liked. Maybe it's just because it, for the most part, keeps the spirit of the original Blair Witch. It really does capture it. It really does capture what made the original so scary, in that the fear that came from the original Blair Witch was most of the fear came from what you didn't see rather than what you did. And that's honestly probably one of the most effective horror tropes for me, is don't show too much. Like, keep the audience in the dark for some stuff. So in Blair Witch, you play as a Burkittsville deputy cop type guy who is driving out to the Black Hills Forest from the movies to search for a boy that's gone missing. They don't know what happened to him. They just think that he wandered into the woods and just didn't come out. Like, now I know what the first thing you're thinking is, and yes, you can pet the dog, and you can also customize the dog. Yeah, they when this port came out, they released an update for the other games where you can actually customize Bullet. You can change his fur color at the beginning of the game. You can pick what color you want. You can change his eye color. You can make him look pretty cool. There's not like a lot of customization options, but I mean, you know, it's just it's small. It's nice. I liked it. I like that they included that. And Bullet actually plays a pretty big role in the game, at least mechanic-wise. He is basically, he's a former police dog, being a German Shepherd and all. So you give him things to smell to try and track the scent of. Sometimes he brings you key items that you need. And in times where you have to get into combat, he is able to see the monsters and point you in the direction where they are. And yes, you heard me right, there are monsters in this, which I have mixed feelings about. For the most part, they actually handle them pretty well, in that you never get a really good look at them, at least until the end, where they actually do show one, and it's just pretty underwhelming, honestly. It's a shame. I would have liked it if they just kept them all in the dark, but you'll occasionally, with your flashlight, the monsters don't like the light. So if you hit one of them with it, it'll start darting throughout the forest, trying to get closer to you, so that it can kill you. And you have to pay attention to kind of where it's darting. It'll usually hide behind trees, and it moves so fast to where you can see that something's there, but you can't see it exactly. You can also see them with your camera. Yeah, that's the other thing, of course. Since this is a Blair Witch game, you know there's going to be a video camera in it. Yes, you find a video camera, and it actually plays a pretty... They do some interesting things with it. They don't just they could have just copied Outlast and just been like, oh yeah, it's a Blair Witch game, so we, have to have a video camera, and then just done what Outlast did and just used it instead of a flashlight. But with this, it's like, so you can use the night vision and everything to see in the dark, to see enemies. But you can also, its main use is you can play back tapes that you find in it, and some of the tapes are just story tapes that were with like videos of past events that have happened, and they're just there to watch. They don't really serve a purpose. But red tapes are special, and playing them have the ability to control the area where they were shot at. So like if there's a thing that's in the video, and like someone drops something on the ground, if you pause the video, the thing will be on the ground, like where it was shot, but in real life. That's not too like ingrained in the first movie or anything, but I did think that was an interesting and kind of original mechanic. I did like it. It definitely makes for some interesting gameplay. One thing that this game, to keep in mind about this game, especially if you're a fan of the original Blair Witch movie, don't go into this kind of expecting a direct sequel, because it's really not. This game, more than being a sequel, more so is a game that wants to tell a character story, a story of centering around Ellis, the main character that you play as, and it uses the setting of the Blair Witch and the Blair Witch lore to tell that story. It uses it as kind of a backdrop, which I didn't mind, and my theory as to why they did that is likely because they were worried, well, what if people don't like it? What if people don't like the game? What if we make the fans mad by sticking too close or whatever, or deviating too much? So they probably wanted to play it safe and be like, okay, let's write our own story kind of around it, so in case people don't like the Blair Witch parts of the game, that'll have something for them, but then let's add some fan service stuff and everything from the universe of the Blair Witch, so that you get the fans. And I think that was kind of smart, playing it safe like that. I honestly wouldn't mind them maybe making a sequel, but this time actually like make it about the Blair Witch and everything. I think there are some possibilities that you could take to make a sequel from it. But as I was saying, one of the biggest things they get right is what made the original so scary, and that's the atmosphere. Part of what made the original Blair Witch movie so scary was that it was just kind of banking on the idea of, okay, yeah, these people are stranded in the middle of nowhere in the woods with their camera. There's something clearly in the woods hunting them, but they don't know what it is. And there's a lot of that in here. The woods are really well designed, honestly. They're very spooky. They look like the woods from the movie. And the woods themselves are very atmospheric, very spooky. They look creepy whether it's at night or during the day, and I really liked it. They look like the woods from the movie. One thing though, and this is part of what I said, where it's not exactly a direct sequel to the Blair Witch, is there's not too many nods to the first movie, or at least not as many as I was hoping there would be. They do mention, because it takes place like a year after the movie, the events of the movie, where they do occasionally mention, when you're talking on like the walkie-talkies, they'll mention about the students and how they didn't find anything after the tapes and everything. And they'll mention like other stuff, about the Blair Witch, about the legend and everything. But I was hoping that you might find like their abandoned campsite or something, like the campsite they had to like abandon when they ran into the woods or something. But yeah, you really don't. You don't find any like new tapes or a new tape that like was never found for the movie that has the 3 characters from the first movie or something. That would have been a nice touch, and would have been an excuse to use the actors again. But I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not a deal breaker. They still have like the Blair Witch tropes. You'll still see like the stick figures hanging from the trees and everything. The other thing about this game, like I said, where I said that they mainly use it as a story that they want to tell, and then just kind of use the Blair Witch mythos as a background for that. This story is mainly about Ellis and him kind of facing his past demons that manifest themselves through PTSD. It's revealed in the game that he was a soldier in the Gulf War, I think is what the war is. And he clearly did something terrible there, but like they don't know what it is until the end. You'll get these moments where you're having these PTSD episodes. It's part of why he has the dog with him, because his dog kind of keeps him centered. It's kind of a therapy dog in a way. And you can, if you're like away from Bullet for too long, then Ellis will kind of start to have a panic attack. His vision will start to get blurry. And stuff like that. And then there's some scripted moments where he actually does have like hallucinations. And I thought that was actually a really clever way to tell the story, because part of the fear of the original Blair Witch is that you didn't know how much of the stuff that was happening was supernatural and how much of it was like someone's just in the woods screwing with them. How much of it could just be explained by natural means. And that's kind of like with this, where like, hey, is the forest, or the Black Hills forest just making him see all this, or is this, and that's part of like the witch screwing with him, or is it he is just having he's just having episodes, and there's nothing really supernatural in it. And I don't want to give away too much of the story. Like I said, I've given you the bare bones of it. You're Ellis, you're in the woods, you're lost, and you're trying to kind of come to terms. There's a subplot that you can choose to continue with, where he gets calls from his ex-wife, and you can answer them, and Ellis will have a conversation. It's basically like you can end up like reconciling with her and everything. It's interesting. I like that they included that. There are 2 endings there's technically 4, but there's 2 main endings with some deviations from each of them that you can get. One of them is the bad ending, the other is the good ending, when in reality they're both kind of bad. Just one of them is less bad than the other. And I did like them. I liked both endings. They definitely made sense for the story that they wanted to tell. But what I didn't like was how you got them. So your first playthrough, you're almost certainly going to get the bad ending. Because the way you get the ending basically involves you picking up the collectibles. Picking up or destroying the collectibles, whatever you want to call it. To get the quote-unquote good ending, I ended up having to look it up on IGN. And to get the good ending, you have to not pick up any wooden dolls that you'll find throughout the forest, not destroy any of the totems, which is the stick figures hanging from the trees, not destroy any of the small rock formations, not kill any of the monsters. You have to do a complete pacifist run, and I think that's it. But yeah, if you do any of those, and I don't mean like, oh, you have to collect all of them or anything, or no, you just, even if you pick up like one thing, like one doll or destroy one stick figure, you'll get the bad ending. It doesn't matter. And I felt like there could have been a better way for them to have done that. I don't know. But anyway, part of what I wanted to talk about was the creatures. Whenever you're trying to get the good ending, you have to use the camera in order to see them in the dark, because otherwise, if you're using the flashlight, anytime the light hits them, they just go crazy and they won't stop chasing you until you're dead, essentially. Though there are rare moments where you can actually escape from one of them. I did manage to get away from one of them when it accidentally saw me. You have to look for them and everything. Look for them with your camera and just kind of avoid them. And you'll know there's indications that they're near. Ellis's breathing will start to get heavy. The vision will start to get kind of obscured. And then, like I said, when you have to be kind of like observant where you point it, because if you look in the screen, like I said, they're really hard to see, but you'll see just these creatures just standing there, kind of usually near trees, and they're just kind of like they make these weird staticky movements, just jerky and everything, and it's hard to see, but it's really creepy. And I was gonna say that kind of feeds into my theory as to what the creatures are. Especially because one of the collectibles in the game are photographs of victims that the woods have taken, and the photographs are basically just nods to the ending of the first movie, with their photographs of people standing in the corners of rooms, like that, like at the end of the first movie. And I noticed whenever I was doing the pacifist run that's how the creatures stand whenever you see them. Whenever you see them and you're not engaged and you're not fighting with them. Yeah, they just kind of stand there. Their back is always towards you, and they're just kind of making these weird jerky movements. And I'm pretty sure like that's implying, and especially because you're not like, to get the good ending you have to not kill any of them. I'm pretty sure that's implying that those are the people that the Blair Witch has taken. That, like, you know, maybe 3 of those monsters are Mike, Josh, and Heather from the first movie. But that's just my theory, really. But that's about, I think, all I have to say about the Blair Witch game. I liked it. Like I said, I liked it. I think if you liked the first movie, if you liked the original movie, you honestly might like this one, because like I said, it keeps the spirit of the original. It keeps kind of like what made the original scary. If you're expecting like a horror game, kind of like something like, I guess, the remake of Resident Evil 2, you're probably going to be disappointed, because like I said, the fear of in this game comes a lot from just the paranoia of being trapped in the woods, and you'll hear, like, you know, sounds coming from around you. You sometimes you're wondering, oh man, was that a scripted sound or was that a monster? And it's effective. At least it was effective for me. So yeah, that's kind of giving you what to expect. And if that sounds interesting, rent it or buy it. Just give it a try. I would definitely suggest giving it a try. And I really do hope that we get a second game, a second Blair Witch game, but that's more involved in the universe. I really wouldn't mind seeing more from this developer, just because it was interesting. It was a fun ride. But all right, that's my thoughts on Blair Witch. And thanks, guys, for being patient with me. I know this video took way longer to get out. There's just been kind of some stuff I've been dealing with. I'm gonna try and have the next creepypasta and a video about Black Christmas out, hopefully by the end of December. I want to try and get Black Christmas out before the year ends. But until then, you guys have an amazing night. Always werewolf responsibly, and I'll see you in the next video.